What's up, everybody? Go Burns, welcoming you to another episode of my Vlogs series. Over here on my Vlogs channel, that's right, I have another channel for all you guys wondering. Like, Go Burns, I'm a fan of your channel, but I've never seen a vlog over here. It's because of another channel. It's my smaller channel. That is where I put my vlogs, in case you were wondering. So feel free and check out the Vlogs channel. By the way, thank you to everybody that has subscribed to that channel. You guys are awesome. And if you have a vlog suggestion for a future episode, feel free and send it my way, as usual, via the comment section, Twitter, Facebook, or email goburns@gmail.com. And as always, if you have a vlog suggestion that you would like to keep anonymous, you can do so. Just send it to me privately via, I guess, a private message on Facebook through the Facebook page. And as I mentioned, via email, goburns@gmail.com. And be sure to check out the vlogs playlist, just in case I may have done a vlog that you have in mind already. And to check out previous vlogs if you are new to this channel. Okay, so today we are vlogging about time. What is time? What does that mean to us? Well, we're going to go at it from several directions. For one thing, time has always been fascinating to me personally, because of the fact that when I was younger, it felt like things took a lot longer to transpire. Like going to school, right? You sit in class, and it just felt like 7 hours would take forever to get through. And I remember, like in high school, I think some of us were complaining about it, if I remember correctly. Middle school, high school, whatever. It was a long time ago for me. But a couple of us were complaining about how it just felt like, time would just go by so slowly. And the teacher started laughing, and we asked him, like, what's so funny? And he's like, just wait till you guys are adults. He's like, what do you mean by that? Like, yeah, time starts to go by really, really fast when you become an adult. And I'm like sitting there thinking, well, that doesn't make any sense. Time is time. Even in my young, dumb age, back in my teens or tweens or whatever I was back then, I knew what a second was. I knew what a minute was. I knew what an hour was. I knew that, time didn't, change. It didn't, 1 second go faster or slower. But the truth is, once I became an adult, once I got done with high school, barely, but I got done, and I got my paper, I got my diploma, I was able to walk across the stage, get that, and move away from my small town back in East Texas to, where I live now, in Louisiana. And it's weird because Louisiana, like I mentioned a few times, is technically my home for many reasons. For one thing, both sides of my family are from here. It's just, my dad at the time, when he was younger, was working for a company, and after he stopped working for that company and started his own business, well, he decided to stay in that small town that he loved so much. Hey, to each their own. But when I became an adult, well, I was still a teenager whenever I, graduated from high school. But legally, I guess you could say I was an adult, even though by comparison to where I am now to where I was then, I would say I was still a long ways off from becoming an adult. I did start to notice that time started going by a lot quicker. Even in college, I noticed that. It's like classes would go by much faster now. And before I knew it, months started speeding by, and years started speeding by, and before I knew it, I was in my mid-30s, or somewhere in that ballpark, right? And it just baffles me that I look back, and it's like I can still remember, like it was yesterday when I was a teenager. It was yesterday when I was, in my early 20s. It was yesterday when I was in college. And it was yesterday when I was in radio. And it's just amazing how it feels that way. But at the same time, I know it's not the case. But at the same time, like, I think about when I was a kid, when I was a lot younger. And that feels like ancient history to me. Like, whenever I was, like, I don't know, Malk, go away. Leave me alone. Every time, man. I don't know why, but he always calls when I'm trying to vlog. He can't wait till I'm done with the vlog. He just doesn't have the time, I suppose. But, like, when I was a kid, like, those memories are, like, ancient to me. And I claim to have a very good memory, but even I sometimes forget things. Like sometimes, like a friend of mine or like one of my sisters will tell me, "Oh, do you remember this?" And I'm like, "What?" Yeah, this happened. I'm like, "What? I don't remember that." Or at least I don't claim to remember it. Because there's some things that I really wish I could forget about. So, yeah, it's just crazy how time is. And, like, for those of you, like, watching the vlog that are, like, in a similar position that I was, and you have somebody telling you that when you get to a certain age, time starts to fly by, it's true. It sounds funny right now. Believe me, it does. Because I've been there. I've been in your shoes. Yeah, once you get to adulthood and you go to college or you start a career, yeah, shit starts to fly by real fast. But it's also interesting because I've noticed that time does tend to slow down sometimes still, occasionally. Like when you're like patiently waiting for something, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Like a first date, for example. You're looking forward to this first date with this person that you've been talking to online. And you've been talking for a few weeks, and you decide to, go out on a date. By the way, I'm not going on any date. This is not happening to me right now. This has happened before in the past, but not recently. But, the time goes by. That day, it just goes really slow. The clock ticks slower and slower. And, as the anticipation grows, you're like, I wonder what she's going to be like. Is she going to be as cool as I think she's going to be? Is she going to look as good as she looks in the photos? Or was she like angling the camera, to make her look better than she actually is? Believe me, that has happened before. And like, what is she going to be like? Is she going to like me? Am I going to like her? Are we going to get along? How's the food going to be at where we're going to go meet for dinner? Is it going to be awesome? Is it going to suck? Because even if the date doesn't go well, at the very least, I would like to get a decent meal, So yeah, I mean, times like that, good times and bad times when it's something, I guess, very important that happens. The anticipation causes, I guess, time to slow down for us. Even though it's still going at the same rate. A second is still a second, a minute is still a minute, and an hour is still an hour, leading up to whatever it is that you're anticipating, what you're waiting for, whether it's a hot date or a new TV show that you love, or a new season of a TV show that you love, or going to see that new movie you're excited about, or a midnight release of a popular video game, or a video game console, or, for example, a DLC, like, for Grand Theft Auto Online, since we're playing Grand Theft Auto Online right now, we have the gun running update coming up tomorrow morning. And I get up early in the morning, and I record the video, and then I put it over on the other channel. But leading up to the update, time does seem to go by fast for me. But tonight, it'll start slowing down. Because I want to go to bed, I want to try to get some sleep, but the anticipation will start slowing down time for whatever rhyme or reason, but it's fine because I also have a new episode of Better Call Saul to look forward to. Absolutely love that show, by the way. But, after that, then time starts to slow down. And I'll go lay down in bed, and I'm anticipating the new update. Whether or not it's going to be good, whether or not it's going to be bad, whether or not it's going to be expensive as hell. What things will be in it that we don't know about? What surprises await us in the gun running update tomorrow on Grand Theft Auto Online? As I lay there in bed. And I've never been really good at going to sleep right away anyways. And usually at least an hour or two pass by, and I'm just laying there thinking about a bazillion different things. And it's crazy, though, because I'll lay there, and it goes back to time. I'll lay there most nights, and about 11:30 or 12 o'clock at night, usually that's about the time I go lay down. And then I'll look at the clock, and then only like an hour or two has passed by. And sometimes it feels like more has passed by, sometimes it feels like less has passed by. And it's really weird, too, whenever you, actually pass out. And then you wake up again, and you think that you slept for several hours. But, I couldn't avoid that. I just didn't have the time. It was against me. I didn't have enough time to hit the brakes. Oh, well. But, yeah, it's very fascinating. Even if I go to sleep, sometimes it does happen. If I'm really, really tired, I'll pass out within 30 or 45 minutes of me hitting the sack. But there are times whenever I wake up an hour later, but I don't think it's an hour later. I'm assuming that I had at least 3 or 4 hours of sleep, and I look at the clock. I'm like, it's only an hour since I passed out. Like, what the heck? What's going on here, time? Well, did you decide to slow down whenever I went to sleep? And that's another thing. Whenever we're sleeping, like, it's amazing sometimes how time does that. Like, you'll be sleeping and you'll think you were only asleep for a few minutes, and then you wake up and it's like 6-7 hours later. And then there's other times where you have that scenario I just mentioned, where you go to sleep and you think you've been asleep a lot longer, and the truth is you weren't. You were just asleep for maybe an hour, hour and a half, or 2 hours tops. Time is very crazy. But going back to what I was talking about a moment ago, so tonight as I lay in bed, the anticipation is going to make it even more difficult for me because I'm patiently waiting for 5 o'clock in the morning, which is the time I'll be getting up, Central Time, to start with the recording of the content for the other channel. A little inside baseball for all my fans over there on the gaming channel. But yeah, so as the time goes by slowly and slowly and slowlier, I know that's not a word, but it's just crazy how it goes. I mean, it works for good things that you're looking forward to, as well as things you're dreading, like doctor's appointments, or other things, good things, bad things, all sorts of things. That's just really on your mind. It just causes shit to slow down for some rhyme or reason, slower than usual, at least in your mind, at least in your point of view. Maybe it's because we focus so much thought on that thing, whereas most of the time, sorry, I don't have the time to stop and exchange insurance. Sorry. I'm just throwing out the time puns today. That's right. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, it's just insane. It's insane how when you focus on time, on something, and you're looking forward to it happening, or you're dreading it happening, and you don't know if it's how bad it's gonna be, whether it's an operation or a procedure you're gonna go through, or if it's something somebody else is going through in your life, like a family member or a friend, and it's possible that they may not pull through. I mean, that's also something that causes time to slow down from your point of view, because you're so focused mentally on that thing, on that person, and what they're enduring, or whatever it is you happen to be looking forward to. Just like when you're a kid and you're patiently waiting to go downstairs, or you go to the Christmas tree and see what Santa's left you, under the tree. If you believe in that sort of thing, and if you don't, well, okay, that's cool too. You don't have to believe in anything. Some people do for some reason, but it still goes back to the whole notion of time, how fascinating it is. And whenever you look at the night sky, and for once, like, it's not nighttime in the game while I'm doing this vlog. It will be in a few minutes, but so yeah, at nighttime, and you look up at the stars in the sky, if you're able to, because in the city it's more difficult. But when you're out in the country, that's one of the positives of living away from a city, is you can actually see the night sky, and it's beautiful, especially when it's clear and you have a nice moon out, and you have all these stars, like countless stars up in the sky. And a great amount of time has passed for that light to get from its point of origin to where we can actually see it. And some of those stars, according to scientists, are no longer there. They died out. And that's one thing I find really crazy, because we look at it from a present tense point of view. We look up and we're like, okay, all those stars are in the sky right now. And all those stars, obviously are at the center of star systems. And maybe, just maybe, those stars, like our star right there, the sun, might have at least one habitable world around it with some people on it. Maybe like us, maybe completely different than us, maybe better than us, maybe worse than us. Maybe they're also, curious about the notions of time and space as well. And they're having, a similar discussion in a similar vlog on Alpha Centauri, right? But anyways, so yeah, it is amazing that you look at something like stars and you don't even think about it, but you're seeing something that happened a long time ago. I forgot what it was exactly, like how long it takes from the light from a star to reach us so we can actually see it. And the very notion that some of these stars may not be there. I don't think they're all not there. I think a lot of them probably still are there, but there are probably some in the night sky that have burned out, or something happened to them. I don't know. But another notion I want to talk about time before we conclude this vlog about time is the fact that we all have time And not everybody's time is equal, right? For example, like my mom, she only lived to be 25 years of age. And I currently have managed to live a little bit longer than that. And there are plenty of people that have lived less. You know, I had a friend back in school, I think I mentioned this before, and unfortunately he died, I think in his early teens. He was killed in a tragic car accident. Well, it was actually a big rig that I guess the driver of the big rig wasn't paying attention, or else he was on something. That's a very real possibility. It was at night, and I think he ran over their car, and you know, basically he was in the passenger seat and he got smashed. In fact, it was a closed casket, by the way. That's how bad it was. But it's just sad, you know, because that's all the time he had. It really makes you wish that, you know, that there is an afterlife. You know, it really makes you hope that there is an afterlife, and that we maybe even reincarnation is the thing for people that do get less time than they should have gotten, so that they get a do-over and they have a chance to, you know, come back and live another life, you know, hopefully a better life. You know, maybe that's one of the reasons why I believe in reincarnation, besides the fact that I have had so-called flashes where I believe that I've, you know, been around before. But that's a different story altogether. I think I've talked about that in a previous vlog, but that's off topic. From another time, right? Another life, another time. But we have to make the most of the time that we have. Whether you're meant to be here for 20 years or 40 years, 80 years or 100 years. You just got to value that time that you do have. And unfortunately, a lot of the time does get wasted. You know, like watching the EA conference over the weekend, along with, you know, some of my friends over at ACG, along with Carrick and Cadiz, and everyone in the ACG Discord. Yeah, that was definitely a waste of time Saturday. But it was fun, though, because we were just sitting there in Discord just shooting the shit, you know, having fun, making jokes, just enduring that E3 conference that EA put on Saturday. We won't talk about the other conferences, but I want to talk about that one because it's been the worst one thus far. But I don't think the bar could be any lower. But it did feel like that conference took a lot longer than it should have, time-wise. So yes, sometimes we do take time for granted. Sometimes time is wasted. Sometimes we think we're going to do something. We procrastinate, which is something I'm very bad about. I think I get it from my dad. Rest in peace, Dad. You know, he was very bad about procrastinating too. But he always had a lot of ideas of things he wanted to do. And he wanted to do this. He wanted to do that. And he would work on a project, and he would work on another project. And, you know, sometimes I feel like I suffer from that a little. But I try to be a bit more focused. And that's why I try to limit, you know, the amount of content I put out and not have too many channels. Like, I think at the moment, 2 active channels is enough. I still have that other channel, my third political channel, which I haven't posted on in a while. But I may start doing something on there again sooner or later. But for now, you kind of have to focus. And I think that a lot of that is when it comes to when we're talking about the allocation of time. I mean, prime example, what we were just discussing, you know, how things seem to go by slower when you're focused on it. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing that's coming up, right? Now, if we are to focus on something that we're passionate about, we put more time into it, and it feels like you're able to put more time into that particular thing. But if we're going through a regular day, the regular routine of getting up and, you know, feeding the pets or feeding the kids or both, or fixing breakfast, taking a shower, using the bathroom, getting all that business taken care of before you go off to work or school or whatever you end up doing, it becomes routine, right? And time just goes by really, really quickly. Before you know it, you know, the day is just completely gone, and you're heading home, and you're like, damn, I wish I had some time to, you know, go chill and go hang out and, I don't know, play a video game or do some Netflixing or go check out that movie or go play some basketball or go bowling, cousin. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting how time is. Because a lot of times whenever the weekend gets here, you know, the weekend seems to go by a lot slower than a standard weekday for whatever rhyme or reason. Well, for people that have a standard work schedule, like Monday through Friday, yeah, I can see how a weekend would go by slower. But for somebody like me who has an unorthodox schedule where I can find myself working on a project every day, and some days, not every day. Or whenever you're like going on a trip, for example, it takes forever to get somewhere, like to the beach, or to a national park, or to Wally World, or somewhere else in the world, like you want to go to, like Europe or Canada. People like to go to Canada. I hear it's nice. At least that's what Kevin tells me. But anyways, yeah, I mean, whenever you're on vacation and you're on a trip, that goes by really, really fast. Because I guess you're just having too much fun. And I guess that's the old saying, right? Time flies when you're having fun. It most definitely does. So I guess if your life, flies by really fast, I guess that means you had a lot of fun with your life. So I guess it's a good thing, right? Hopefully. But anyways, in conclusion, just cherish the time that you have, make the most out of it, and realize that we all have a certain amount of time that we're here. And hopefully this is not the end when it's over. Hopefully there's more beyond this life. At least that's what I believe. I don't know what exactly, but I do like to believe in something. But at the same time, when it comes to the time that we all do have, make the most out of it. If there's something you want to do with your life, if there's something you're passionate about, something you're interested in, a career, or that girl or that guy that you would like to spend the rest of your life with, and maybe they want to spend the rest of their life with you, carpe diem, seize the day. Because, time is relative, time is important. Time is precious. And sometimes, time isn't on our side, just like the Blue Oyster Cult once said, in their hit song, Burning for You, So just remember that. And, don't take time for granted, because you never know when our time is going to be up. So as long as you still have some time left and there's still something or some things you want to do with your life, take the time to do it. Yeah, just take the time to get it done. Whether it takes you a few weeks, a few months, a few years, or the rest of your life, as long as it's something you're more than happy to invest that precious time into, that's what really matters. Whether it's a career, a relationship, or something else you're passionate about, something else that you would like to have in your life. So if you want to, get in really good shape, take the time to get in really good shape. If you eventually want to start a family, find the right person and treat them right, and hopefully they treat you right, and hopefully you guys have a long, happy life, and you're both able to, raise some kids and have a good family, and there you go. Or if you want a specific career, take the time to learn that career. Go to trade school or go to college. Do whatever it takes to eventually master the knowledge and skills it takes to go into that field that you desire to go into. And obviously a lot of these things are things that people want to do, not just one. They don't want to pick one. They want a career. They want a future with somebody, someone, a family as well. So good. Invest the time in all these things that matter the most to you. And in time, it will be something that you can look back on and feel good about spending that time that you did have wisely.